NFL Daily is on. Tonight, we recap a big Seattle Seahawks victory over Drew Stanton and the Arizona Cardinals in the Big Toaster. In Tampa Bay, it's McCown versus Fitzpatrick. How about that for a marquee QB matchup? The Jets can get to 500. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers are without Jameis Winston for at least a couple weeks. The lowly Browns search for their first win in the Motor City. Is DeShone Kizer the answer? Probably not. Meanwhile, the Lions look to keep pace with the Vikings in the NFC North. The Saints head to Buffalo to take on a fresh Bills team. Can New Orleans continue their win streak to 7 games? Both these defenses will be fun to watch. The Colts and Steelers are set to do battle. Pittsburgh is in great shape, while it seems like the sky is falling in Indy. Andrew Luck is done for the year, and it looks like victory in Seattle. The Packers and Bears renew their rivalry, but a Brett Hundley-Mitchell Trubisky matchup leaves a lot to be desired. The Chargers are fresh off a bye and are set to take on the Jags on the road. Can LA get a big-time statement win? Speaking of LA, the Rams will host the Texans, but with Tom Savage at QB, Houston's playoff hopes are rapidly decreasing. The Giants and 49ers will duel in the Bay Area, but there's just one win between both these teams. Will anyone be able to sit through this game? Brady heads to Mile High Stadium to take on, yes, Brock Osweiler yet again. Can Brady erase the Denver Demons of the past? And on Monday Night Football, the Dolphins take on the Panthers in a must-win for Miami. Will Jay Cutler be their savior? We answer all of those questions and more. It's NFL Preview. Here we go. Hey folks, welcome into NFL Daily Friday edition. Let's get into those Seahawks and Cardinals highlights right now, Tom Downey.
Yeah, the game wasn't actually awful. I mean, there were a lot of injuries, and that's a whole other topic, but we'll get to these highlights here. I like the neon color rush jerseys.
Yeah, I dig it. All
right, I saw a lot of people saying on Twitter that they hated them. I actually thought they were pretty good. All right, first quarter, Cam. Good things happen when you throw the ball to Jimmy Graham. Touchdown Seattle, 7-0. First play of the second quarter, little screen pass with play action to Jermaine Gresham. He gets into the end zone for the score. We're tied up at 7, but backed up on their own goal line. Adrian Peterson was swallowed up basically 2 yards back in his own end zone. That's a safety, 9-7. Now it's 12-7 here before the half. Russell Wilson actually has time, and he goes deep downfield to find Paul Richardson for the big gain. That led to a field goal, 15-7 at the half, but then Cam in the third quarter. Bad news for Seattle. Richard Sherman makes the tackle. He stays down. It is a ruptured Achilles. His season is now over. Now it's time for peak Russell Wilson. Rolls out to his left. Pressure coming, runs forward, turns back around, keeps running backward, and then just chucks it up to Doug Baldwin, who grabs it out just about the 46-yard line, and then he's off to the races. Gets taken down inside the 5-yard line. Huge gain. That leads then to Jimmy Graham, because good things happen when you throw it to Graham. Seattle up 22-10. Arizona puts up a late fight. Andre Ellington up the middle for the score. They missed the 2-point conversion. Onside kick time with 20 seconds left. They get it, everything pull off the miracle, and it's not even remotely close. Seattle dives on it. They go on to win this one 22-16, Cam.
The Seattle Seahawks now 6-3 on the campaign, while the Cardinals have fallen below 500. Totally unsurprising considering Carson Palmer no longer in the lineup for those
Stanton
Cardinals.
wasn't awful.
He wasn't, but he did miss a few throws out there, Tom.
Shocker.
And very important throws at that. Obviously, some big-time opportunities for the Cardinals in that
game. This kind of
game.
seems like a Pyrrhic victory, because Seattle won the game, but they lost Richard Sherman.
Yes.
Go figure. Thursday night games have injuries.
So no Earl Thomas last night.
Wonder if there's any correlation there.
Yeah, exactly. And that brought up the big headlines today about, is there a problem with Thursday Night Football and all of that. But with that aside, that Legion of Boom now for Seattle, very wounded, Tom.
Yeah, without Richard Sherman, the secondary, or at least the cornerback spot, I think it's a little bit iffy.
Yeah, they still have Jeremy
I'm a little
Lane.
bit concerned.
because he failed his physical on the trade.
Yay, they have Jeremy Lane. Goody.
So there you have it. Seahawks looking pretty darn good there last night. They win that one. Hey, folks, welcome into NFL Daily. If you're just joining us, Cam Rogers alongside Tom Downey. We are taking you through every single Week 10 matchup, Tom. Some exciting ones at that. You got the Saints going on the road, taking on the Buffalo Bills. And some
be a great game.
Not so exciting ones, 49ers and Giants out west. So
not going to be a great game.
Not going to be a great game. So
well, comedy factor.
Yes.
Never underestimate the comedy
that
factor.
Is true.
That can lead to some great games in the end. Yeah.
There you have it. All right. So we are completely live, ladies and gentlemen. We want you commenting and reacting about your thoughts on these upcoming games. Every single game will give you an opportunity to react with a respective heart or wow face, etc., in terms of who you think is going to win that game that we talk about. But we are presented by Mizzen and Main. Hey, who says you can't be comfortable at the office, Tom? Mizzen and Main makes comfortable dress shirts that are perfect for your work days, corporate outings, parties, and so much more. They're so comfortable, you think you're headed to the gym, but you're not. These dress shirts are made out of comfortable performance fabric that make you really look good going out, going to work, etc. We love them, Tom. I know you wear them going out.
It's my go-to shirt. It's a green one, which I can't wear on air because this is a green screen behind us, and I look like a hologram.
That'd be a no-go.
So I am not allowed to wear it, which makes me upset because it is super comfortable. It's my favorite shirt that I own.
Really cool website, too. Comfortable.af.
It's perfect.
Because they are indeed comfortable as F.
Creativity.
Not just shirts, too, Tom. Talking denim, talking hats, many different selections. It's gifting season, too, so really got to check out that website.
All right.
All right, so many thanks to Comfortable.af for coming on here on NFL Daily Preview Edition. Let's get into a news and note in regards to that recent game that we just did, Seattle and Arizona. Richard Sherman, of course, probably going to be done for the year with the Achilles injury. And so with that, the rumors now circle, has he played his last game in Seattle? And the logic being, Richard Sherman could have went into the locker room last night with that Achilles. He actually stayed on the sideline, talked to some players, Earl Thomas, most notably during the broadcast there, and people were wondering, well, maybe Richard Sherman did that because that was perhaps his last game in Seattle.
And also he's entering the last year of his contract. It's going to be next year.
Yep.
Seattle shopped him. That was a very public trade offering that we don't often see in the NFL. There are a lot more trade discussions that occur than we think happens. But with Richard Sherman, he was openly shopped, and it was in large part, Seattle doesn't have a lot of money. And this is what happens when you build a good team and you have a good quarterback. You don't have a lot of money to spend. And with Seattle investing a bunch of money on their defense, they got to go cheap in certain areas. They've done that with the offensive line. We know how that's turned out.
Right.
Richard Sherman is now going to be a 30-year-old cornerback with a $13 million cap hit coming off a ruptured Achilles, which frankly is one of the more severe injuries you can have as an NFL player because it's just you often don't come back as the same type of player. So I think it's a fair question of what is Seattle going to do with Sherman, and that's kind of started some of the speculation around Seattle is, hey, is Sherman going to be back next year? I think it's a fair question.
Well, he's turning 30 in March, and that's going to be around free agency time. And, of course, Richard Sherman could fill a void for many teams out there. A lot of cornerback
Miami
teams.
was heavily interested in Sherman, and if he did get dealt, I thought it was going to be to Miami.
And, Tom,
there was that amount of interest.
I will make a note about the Seattle Seahawks, too, in regards to they used to actually be very solid in the cap space department, even with a great team, because they had so many young players on their rookie contracts.
Especially Russell Wilson.
Yes, not anymore, right?
Then the quarterback gets paid. It's like, oh, there goes all our money.
Exactly. Kind of a...
So, look, I think the best option might be to redo the contract because I don't think they're going to get much in a trade, and I don't know if a team wants to take on Sherman in a trade and then have to give him a new extension. I think Seattle should redo that contract, shuffle around that money, get his cap hit lower for this year. If they do cut him, there's only $2.2 million in dead money. Coming off the injury, look, I think that there's a legitimate chance that Sherman could be elsewhere this time next year.
Yep, I don't think Sherman is coming back.
I'd keep him because Seattle doesn't have enough of a corner to truly replace him.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chance.
And we're seeing some wow faces, some laughing faces here in the reaction poll. So people are saying trade him, cut him.
Which I find interesting.
Not many hearts,
Maybe that's other teams or fans of other teams wanting to get
Well,
Sherman.
the Seattle fans out west are probably still at work, so they can't be tuning in right now. But I'm sure they'll be tuning in later. So we'll be tracking those votes here in the reaction poll, folks. Keep them coming. And Tom, you ready for some previews?
I am.
We're going to kick things off with an interesting one. Josh McCown versus Ryan Fitzpatrick. We head to Tampa Bay this Sunday where the Jets will take on those Buccaneers. And this is a game where Look, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been a big-time disappointment so far this year.
That's putting it nicely.
Yeah. I actually think Dirk Cutter is a fringe hot seat candidate right now in the NFL.
I agree because the Bucs look completely outcoached right now.
Yeah.
There are some talent issues. I agree with that, but this is not a talentless Bucs team. This is not like the Colts where it's like, oh, we lost Andrew Luck. Oh my God, there's no talent. This was a team that should be competing for the playoffs. If it's not the players, guess whose fault it is? The coaching staff.
Always.
So, look, Dirk Cutter was a weird hire to begin with because the Bucs didn't want to lose their OC. Winston has not progressed in the way he's supposed to. So, yeah, I think Dirk Cutter should be fired. Go get somebody good.
And look at this, Tom. The Jets are favored on the road.
Yeah. Well, it's because Ryan Fitzpatrick is starting at quarterback and there's no Mike Evans. A couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week, I said, Cam, the Jets are going to lose the rest of their games. Well, they beat the Bills, and I'm telling you right now, they're going to beat the Bucs, and they're going to be 5-5, and all of a sudden, the Jets have an actual chance of being a playoff team.
Oh my gracious.
Then they'll start losing all their games, and they'll finish with 5 wins and be just high enough to not get a quarterback.
Can we nickname this the Career Journeyman Bowl? Fitzpatrick versus McCown.
I love it.
That's perfect.
I love it.
That is perfect.
The Journeyman Bowl. That's so perfect.
I'm actually going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, I actually think Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Revenge game?
Revenge game. A little revenge there for Mr. Fitzy. I think Fitzy is the NFL version of me at quarterback. I'm a gunslinger. I like to sling it around there with the line drives.
That seems like an insult to Fitzpatrick, by the way.
I actually think the Buccaneers find a way. I understand no Mike Evans, but I think Humphreys will find some plays in the slot there. The Jets have struggled at covering opposing slot wide receivers. And so, it doesn't make a lot of sense to pick the Bucs here because you think things are favoring the Jets in this situation, but I'm throwing up my wow face. I think Tampa Bay gets the victory here at home. I mean, I can't see the Jets actually going to 500 at this late in the season. I can't.
You say that, but this is what the Jets do. They win when they're not supposed to and lose when they're supposed to. To win.
The Jets will not have Matt Forte this week. He had a pretty good game just recently, so.
Bilal Powell time.
Yes, exactly. So, I'm throwing up my wow face. Tom is going with the Jets in this one, folks. Throw in your reactions. We want you reacting as well. And throw in your comments, too. Maybe a couple score predictions out there for these Jets and Buccaneers. Let's move into the next game here. Cleveland Browns coming off a bye. And, hey, Tom, they won their bye week, so we can give them
Are we sure they did?
They will be traveling to the Motor City.
I still think they kind of lost because of the giant disaster that was the A.J. McCarron trade.
That's a good point, yeah.
You see what Hugh Jackson said this week?
What did he say?
He said that the failed trade for A.J. McCarron wasn't like an indictment against Deshaun Kaiser or anything. That he still believes Kaiser's the future of the franchise. I'm like, okay.
God help
Well,
me.
then why did you try to trade multiple picks for Deshaun Kaiser? Like, no, or for A.J. McCarron. You clearly didn't believe in Kaiser. That's why you wanted to go get A.J. McCarron. Like, well, let's not kid ourselves.
First of all, don't say that in public. Say that to Kaiser himself, like in private, then move on with your life. But anyway.
Sorry, Deshaun. We totally didn't believe in you anymore. But now we believe in you. Like,
exactly.
Come on.
So the Lions are favored by 11.5 in this one. The Browns do get Jason McCourty back to match up on Marvin Jones. And McCourty's had a great year at corner, actually. Number 2 corner.
Been a nice bounce back year for him.
Yeah, according to PFF there. So Lions will be without their star guard there, TJ Lang. So maybe something to monitor on the inside there in the trenches. But the Lions, they look pretty darn good on Monday Night Football, Tom, against Green Bay. I think 11.5 may be a little too much for me.
I actually agree with you.
I actually would probably go with the Browns here.
I think the Browns cover, but the Lions win by like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a low-scoring game.
It's going to be a one-score game, I think. But it might end up being like 9 or something. But the Lions are going to win, but I think it'll be closer. Cleveland, very quietly, actually has a pretty good defense. It's not great because they're on the field so much, but this is a solid defense. I think they're going to do a good job of stopping Matthew Stafford. I think Amir Abdullah is not going to have much going on the ground either.
No, yeah. The Lions continue to struggle to run the football. It kind of has been a theme with them the last few years. So, yeah, I think the Browns cover, and I'll go with the Lions outright there in that one. Folks, who do you have? Throw up a heart for the Browns, a wow face for the Lions, as we have a who you got little reaction poll for you out there at home. Yeah, I mean, I think, Tom, there is a real chance the Browns could go 0-16 this year. I really believe that, and it's sad.
Look, I think that's been the case for years now. Like, are the Browns going to win a game is a decent prop bet, and I think that they will win a game this year. I don't think it's going to be this week, not on the road. I do think they'll win a game.
Maybe stun Cincinnati?
Hey, maybe they could beat the Packers.
Wow.
No Aaron Rodgers. Brett Hundley's garbage, so we'll
That's a
talk
good
more
point.
about him.
That's a
Maybe
good
they
point.
could beat the Packers. It's a home game.
Okay. All right, so right now the Browns have to deal with the Lions.
Steelers have already clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC or number 2 seed, and they lose to they lose to the Browns at home in a meaningless
Okay, that
game.
doesn't count. That's week 17.
Still counts as a game.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Counts in the books.
I
It
guess
counts.
it does. All right, folks. Browns and Lions in what probably will be a bit of a clunker. This one will not be. The New Orleans Saints heading on up to upstate New York to take on the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills, of course, a team that loves to run the football. The Saints, all of a sudden, a team that's running the football effectively. Alvin Kamara is one of only 3 players, Kareem Hunt, Todd Gurley, the other 2, in the NFL this season with at least 300 rushing yards, 300 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. This guy's the real deal.
Oh, I love him. And it's kind of a question of why didn't he get the ball more at Tennessee? But it might have ended up being a good thing for him because now he didn't have the same wear and tear other backs do. He's still very fresh in terms of overall career mileage. I'm high on Kamara. I think he's a perfect fit for the Saints team. We always talk about talent coming out of the NFL draft. Where you go matters just as much, if not more. Perfect fit for Alvin Kamara. In the Saints, in that offense, an absolutely dynamite fit. It's also why you don't reach for a Christian McCaffrey, as good as I think he is, in the top half of the first round. You wait, and you get a guy like Kamara. Similar players.
And he's panning out for sure. By the way, the Bills have been fantastic in the turnover department, plus 11 turnover differential. But the thing to note here, Tom, they have a lot of takeaways. And that concerns me because you have regression to the mean. And eventually, they're going to have games where they don't turn the football over.
Yeah, the total offense, total defense numbers aren't that great. Buffalo's just been so good at turnovers, and the coaching's been great. I still don't really know what to make of this Buffalo team. Like, the turnovers are super impressive, and I think that they can kind of keep that consistent. And I think the offense and defense will kind of regress to the mean in itself and go higher. I just don't really know what to make of Buffalo. But in a down AFC, they already have some very quality wins. I think they're still very much in the playoff mix, which we'll get to later on in Downey's Dozen.
There you have it.
Projecting the NFC and AFC playoff picture.
Absolutely. And a big headline for the Buffalo Bills, too. Charles Clay could be back at the tight end position. Yes, they do, to perhaps provide some red zone ability.
Ty God loves throwing to the tight ends.
So who you got, ladies and gentlemen? Throw a heart for the Saints, a wow face for the Bills. Tom, the Saints are favored on the road by 3. Where are you going with this one? This is tough.
It is tough. I'm actually a little surprised New Orleans favored by 3 on there. I thought it might be closer to like an even game. I will go with New Orleans. I don't feel super confident with that, but I do believe in the Saints team. I think they pick up the win.
I think the Bills win outright.
All right.
I think the Bills stun the Saints.
I don't really mind that pick. This was very much a coin flip game for me.
Yeah, I think this could be kind of an easy upset pick here. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills, throw out my wow face. I think they create a couple turnovers, maybe a Kamara fumble, etc. And the Buffalo Bills get it done in New York. How about a team that's not getting it done right now? The Indianapolis Colts. They will be hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mega shade.
And the Steelers, of course, coming off a bye. You have to wonder, maybe trap game, but I doubt it. I'm sure they are prepared for the Colts, and because they had that bye week, a little extra time. No James Harrison, though, for the Steelers. I don't think it will matter here, Tom.
No, this should be a rout. Look, the Colts just are a bad football team. I don't really know how else to say it other than that. I think the Steelers are really good, and I think this is going to be a big game for Antonio Brown. Remember, there's no Vontae Davis, and it's not like the rest of the Colts secondary guys are any good either. And I think Lev Bell has a big game. So I think those two get the ball a ton. The Steelers run all over the Colts. Maybe that they compete a little bit, but on the road, the spread's 10 points. Give me Pittsburgh. I'll be surprised if this is a one-score game. I think Pittsburgh's going to run away from it.
I think the Colts are going to have theirs. They will score some points, but I do think the Steelers are going to win by more than 10.
Steelers very quietly have had a good defense, too.
That's true.
This is closer to what we saw back when the Steelers were even better than what they've been the past few years when they were winning Super Bowls. The defense has been a lot better. They infused it with some good young players, and now it's starting to show.
No Vontae Davis there in the secondary. It'll be interesting to see how that secondary unfolds against the Steelers team with Juju Smith-Schuster and Antonio Brown there. I think they're going to feast. They're licking their chops right now, Tom.
They totally are. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah, so, folks, who do you have? Give us a heart for the Steelers, a wow face for the Colts. I don't think many people are going the Colts direction. I'm going with the Steelers as well. We'll say this, T.Y. Hilton.
If there are any Colts votes here.
I'm
super curious.
There could be some T.Y. Hilton fans out there.
Give me one vote, guys.
Give
me one vote.
Give us one wow face. So Hilton, by the way, has had 10 career games.
I saw it. There we go.
Oh, it's in.
Yeah, we
All
got
right.
a few rolling in. Thank you, guys.
Hilton with 10 career games of at least 150 receiving yards. So, he's coming off a good performance a week ago, limited in practice today.
Not going to be as good against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He has been solely matchup dependent.
Okay. I'm throwing up my heart. I'm going with the Steelers as we welcome you back on screen here. Cam Rogers alongside Tom Downey here on NFL Daily, previewing all of the Week 10 matchups, helping you out with your gambling as well. I'm sure all you people out there are getting ready to make your picks, maybe your office pool, etc. So we're here to help, and we are presented by Mizzen and Main. Fantastic performance fabric shirts. Head on to comfortable.af to check them out. Great wicking technology, no ironing needed, no dry cleaning needed. Saves you so much time.
Yeah.
It's easy.
You iron, though, because you're a respectable adult, unlike producer Harris.
I like to go the extra mile and iron my comfortable.af shirts.
Yeah.
There you go. So many thanks to Mizzen and Main for coming on NFL Daily here. Let's check in with a little Titans and Bengals action. Tom, you are a Ohio guy, so
I'm from Cincinnati.
Yes, indeed, and I'm sure a lot of your friends are fed up with this Bengals team.
Oh my God, they're so tired of it. They've been tired for years now because it's the same thing back when they were good. All right, this is the year we're gonna win a playoff game. Oh crap, we didn't because we didn't scheme well. Our coaching was awful. I was at the Bengals-Chargers playoff game a couple years ago.
God bless you.
Bought tickets for my dad. Not a guy. He was super proud of me. Probably the best thing I've ever done for him in my entire life. And it was awful because it was rainy. They couldn't run the ball.
Right.
Andy Dalton threw like 3 picks, one of which was just like an out route that he just stared down his receiver. Brutal game. It's been bad ever since Carson Palmer had his knee injury from Chemo Van Oelhoffen, or as he's called in Cincinnati, Chemo Van Cheap Shot. Bengal fans have never lived that down.
Wow. Are we talking 2010 right now?
Yeah, before that, man. We're talking years ago.
Oh, my.
Like, we are talking back when every Bengals fan was convinced that was their year. And really, they might have been right because that play where Palmer went down was like a 45-yard throw to Chris Henry. They get the first down, and then they just kind of didn't have enough because they lost Carson Palmer.
Okay, history lesson aside here, Tom. This game this weekend.
Titans.
Okay,
Give me
all right.
Tennessee. The offense is horrible for the Bengals. They've got no offensive line. The defense is quietly good,
yeah,
but the Bengals' offense is horrific.
And the Bengals,
horrifically bad.
The Bengals have had really great success in the front seven this year, and
it's good.
Yeah, it's highly ranked. But the Titans, I don't think the Titans are going to run the football well. But I think, Marcus Mariota will make a couple plays down the field, Corey Davis, Eric Decker, etc., and they'll win.
Marcus Mariota does not turn the ball over in the red zone, and I mean that literally. He's never done it.
Yeah, he's never done it, yeah.
So maybe that changes finally. Bengals are a decent team that can make it happen, but when the Titans get to the red zone, they will convert, and that's why they win.
Yep, give me the Titans as well. That one in Tennessee. This one here in Atlanta. It's America's Game of the Week on Fox. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Cowboys, Falcons. No Ezekiel Elliot, so it will be intriguing to see how that committee shakes out in the backfield with Rod Smith and Derek McFadden, Alfred Morris, etc. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, not really sure what you're going to get from this team week in, week out. They put up a lot of yards, but they don't score a lot of points.
Turnovers too.
Turnovers too, and Julio Jones dealing with an injury right now. So.
Look, Julio's going to play because that's just classic Julio Jones. Oh, I'm hurt. I'm hurt really bad. Okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
it's painful owning Julio Jones in fantasy.
Always a questionable.
It's like, oh, he and LaShawn McCoy, it's like, oh, God, he's hurt again. He's limping. Oh, touchdown. Okay, we're fine. So, look, this is going to be a good game. The Falcons by 3. I had originally picked the Cowboys because I thought Zeke was going to play. This is not a shot against Dallas. This is not a shot against Dak Prescott. They're going to compete. They're going to win games without Ezekiel Elliott. But I want to see how the Cowboys look. So for the time being, give me Atlanta in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Falcons as well. Dak Prescott, though, has played really well so far for the Dallas Cowboys. Last week, joined Cam Newton as the only player in NFL history to have at least 35 touchdown passes and 10 rushing touchdowns in the first 2 seasons. So Cam and Dak can kind of join forces in that regard. By the way, DeMarcus Lawrence, what can you say about this guy?
He is a war daddy now. Jerry
Seriously?
Jones said he wanted a war daddy on the defensive line. He's got one now. He's also going to get paid because he's a pending free agent. Perfect time to step up with by far your best year
That's
ever.
intriguing.
Yeah.
Very intriguing. Good timing.
He was also he showed a lot of promise in his second year, and I really liked it. His third year, he was hurt and suspended. He had a back injury. He wasn't the same. This year, he was healthy. He was in shape, and it showed.
So the Cowboys on the road in this one, Tom. Sounds like you're leaning towards Atlanta.
Give me Atlanta. I don't like saying it. I think that the Cowboys are going to be okay. But going from Zeke to Alfred Morris / Darren McFadden / Rod Smith, it's a pretty steep drop-off. So that's where I'm concerned. I think the Cowboys will compete. They're not going to suddenly turn into the Browns like some will have you believe. And it's not that Dak Prescott is a system quarterback or that he can't do anything by himself. Dak's going to make a lot of plays. And it's going to be fun to watch him take that next step forward in his development without Zeke Elliott. And the suspension of Zeke sucks for the Cowboys. It sucks really bad for Zeke in the NFLPA. But I think it's actually going to be a good thing for Dak because it's going to let him take more command of the offense that he has, but he's going to be able to take that next step forward and silence some people who think, oh, it's just because he's on the Cowboys with a great offensive line.
Wow, Tom, that is quite the spin zone for the fact that Ezekiel Elliott is out.
I said it was bad. I said it was bad.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. I will go with the Atlanta Falcons as well. I think they get it done at home. They bounce back from that game against Carolina.
Speaking of bad, by the way.
This is really odd. Like, this whole situation is really bizarre. We're going to bring up a news and note here about Jerry Jones versus Arthur Blank. So the situation right now. They're working on currently an extension for Roger Goodell.
A laughably overpriced extension.
So with that, Jerry Jones doesn't want that, and he feels that he's being shut out by the committee, the 6-man committee there by the owners that actually go through the negotiations, most notably Arthur Blank, and Jones doesn't like that.
Yeah, this is basically the closest we'll ever get to an NFL civil war involving owners. Jones versus Blank, a.k.a. Jones versus Goodell and the NFL upper
It's only
leadership.
fitting that Jerry Jones is
I mean,
involved.
of course it's Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Now, this actually doesn't have a ton to do with Zeke. I'm sure that's not helpful. This really is like, look, Jerry Jones is upset with Goodell. He's not a huge fan of what he's been doing. He's not a fan of the way Goodell has handled things. And the way the NFL works is it's not that all 32 owners approve the extension or the new contract for Goodell. It's more that they have this little subcommittee consisting of 6 owners led by Arthur Blank that says, okay, we're going to get this contract worked out. There's been some debate about what it actually looks like. Jones says that, hey, this was supposed to be this contract. It was supposed to be much more incentive-based, and it's not. Why are you doing that? And it's Blank and Goodell are more or less saying, no, it's fine. This is what we agreed to.
Jerry, it's fine.
It's fine. Look, Jerry is used to getting his way, and it often works out very well for the NFL. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame, because he has done quite a bit to boost the NFL in terms of their viewership and everything, getting the Fox contract. He has been great for the NFL. But right now, we're getting closer to seeing Jerry Jones going up against the NFL's other leaders, the other owners. This might get a little ugly. Not that a whole lot of us care because it's a bunch of rich white guys arguing over things.
So just,
old rich white guys arguing.
A little icing on the cake for this game this weekend, too.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
I want to see Jerry Jones, Arthur Blank, cage match one-on-one, see who wins.
You know what, Tom? They fight at halftime. How about that?
Look, man, make that pay-per-view. I'll pay for it.
All right, folks. How about your thoughts on this matter? Whose side are you on? You with Jerry Jones? You with Arthur Blank and Roger Goodell? You think maybe Roger Goodell should have a less incentive-based contract? Or do you just not care? Give up a laughing face. Where are you at, Tom?
Well, Jerry doesn't want Goodell, so I kind of like that idea.
Okay.
But I think most will fall on the side of neither. I think it's very interesting. It's worth talking about. But, yeah, maybe more important things going on. Like, it's funny. I get a kick out of this, out of watching NFL owners argue with each other about how much their figureheads should get paid. And let's not kid ourselves here. Like, Roger Goodell's contract should not be $30 million.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, cut that, in a third, if that.
With
like,
the PR nightmares he's
That's
had?
more than enough money.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need that much.
Like, he's probably bored with the amount of money he has right now.
I wish I had a fraction of that money.
So, ladies and gentlemen, a little interesting story that's going on right there with Jerry Jones and Arthur Blank, and you can follow that along on chatsports.com as well. All right, let's continue our previews here. We got a little Vikings at Redskins action, and this is interesting because the Redskins are coming off a surprising victory against the Seattle Seahawks. The Vikings coming off a bye week. They're well rested, looking like a premier team in the NFC. This could be a low-key wild card preview game here, Tom.
I actually would like to watch that happen. I think that'd be a fun game. I do think Minnesota has the advantage. The Redskins are still, a little bit banged up, frankly. This team isn't in the best shape they've ever been in.
Just look at the injury report.
The injury report's been bad for the Redskins.
Crowder, Brian Quick, Jordan Reed, Brandon Sheriff, Morgan Moses, Trent Williams.
Those are a lot of key players right
all
there.
Questionable.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. So I think with Minnesota, they've got their own injury problems, namely at quarterback. Sam Bradford looks like his season is over. My expectation is you're going to see the Vikings come out and win this game. And being favored on the road, that's a good indication of that. I think Minnesota wins. The Redskins hang around. They're going to be about a 500 team, but I like this Minnesota team because their defense is great.
The defense is fantastic. I think they're going to harass Kirk Cousins and the Redskins offensive line, especially you look at the injuries there to some premier offensive linemen, some starters, a couple of tackles, and Moses and Trent Williams. I think the Redskins are in trouble here. Vikings only by 1.5. That's disrespectful, Tom. Disrespectful to the Minnesota Vikings.
It's the home road thing. Like, at home, they'd be like 7-point favorites. Is that fair for you?
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
I'll take
so
that.
there you go. So,
okay.
Look, I got the Vikings, but going on the road is never easy. I think that's often overlooked. I think too often we think of NFL games as like neutral site fields.
That's true.
Especially compared to like college.
Yeah, absolutely.
We think it's much more a bigger deal going on the road as opposed to college to the NFL. It's a big deal for the NFL.
You have to travel and all that and planning, et cetera. Totally
I'm still picking the Vikings, though.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings as well. Folks, who are you taking at home? Throw up your heart for the Minnesota Vikings, a wow face for the Washington Redskins. I will say this, Tom. Big-time game for the Redskins because they're just trying to keep pace at this point in the NFC East, right?
Well, they're not going to catch the Eagles. They're trying to keep pace in what is shaping up to be a great NFC wild card battle. I think it's going to be one of the better ones you've had in quite a while. It's going to be amazing because there are a lot of teams in the mix.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of that, Tom, we have a fresh batch of Downey's Dozen, your AFC and NFC playoff projections. And we got some movement here in the projections compared to last week.
That is how you do a transition, folks. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
I appreciate that. Hey, how about we get into the AFC here? We'll start off with number 6. Your team to get into the playoffs if the season were to finish now. You got the Buffalo Bills.
It's kind of forecasting ahead.
Yeah, perhaps
forecasting ahead. It's as how I think now, how I think things are going to go. And guess what, folks? It's going to change. It changed from last week because the Bills lost to the Jets, which I didn't think was going to happen. The AFC wild card battle, frankly, Cam, is a mess. Like, the Bills, I don't know how good they actually are, but look at the other teams behind them. The Dolphins, absolutely not. I hate to say it. It's not going to be.
Don't sleep on Baltimore.
It's not going to be your Baltimore Ravens.
Don't sleep on Baltimore.
I would love to pick Oakland, but their schedule is actually pretty tough the rest of the way. So for the time being, I'm going to lean. It's rough. Like you see it now.
Patriots, Broncos. You got the Chiefs later, then Cowboys, Eagles.
The Giants are going to be a win, but other than that, like I don't know, maybe you beat the Broncos and Chargers, but even then, you're looking at a bunch of teams with good marks.
Could be looking
and
at
the
6
Cowboys,
and 10.
the Cowboys are going to have Zeke back.
Right.
So it's not an easy path for Oakland. That's why I'm leaning Buffalo. I would prefer to have Oakland. I think they'll put up a better fight than Buffalo because I don't know how good Buffalo actually is. But with where Buffalo currently stands, give me the Bills.
I can't believe.
Plus, no one circles the wagons like the Bills do.
Yeah, but nobody doesn't make the playoffs like the Bills do either.
The Jets.
Too. Okay, the Jets too.
Which they're also actually in the mix, which is really, really weird.
They are actually, as you look right now, they are the 10th seed on the outside looking in, and it's not too far behind those Bills. How about number 5 in the AFC playoff projections here on Downey's Dozen? We've got the Tennessee Titans in as a wild card. So you have 2 AFC South teams going to the playoffs. Can you believe that?
I did not think it was going to happen. Like, the AFC West could get 2, maybe 3 teams in the playoffs, and now it's like,
maybe
fine,
just one.
Yeah, maybe just one. The Titans, they're a bad loss away from against the Dolphins. Without Marcus Mariota, by the way, from being 6-2, and everyone's saying, "Oh, Tennessee, hey, maybe they're one of the top 3 teams in the NFL right now." Instead, they lost to Miami, and it's like, okay, maybe they can sneak in. They have beaten the Jags. They have a Week 17 matchup. That might be for the AFC South crown. The difference is, and we'll get to them before in a second, the Titans have a little bit tougher schedule the rest of the way. It's a minuscule difference right now, but I lean Jacksonville as things currently stand because I think Jacksonville's a little bit easier schedule.
All right, so that means Jacksonville checks in at number 4 in Downey's Dozen. So according to your projections, the Jaguars and the Titans would do battle in the playoffs.
Jacksonville still gets to play the Colts, the Cardinals, the Browns, and the 49ers. Those should be 4 guaranteed lock-em-in wins.
Okay.
That gets them to 9 wins. If they can win 1 or 2 games, they're going to get the 4 seed, and they're going to win the AFC South. The schedule is just a little bit easier.
It seems like Jacksonville has their formula.
Look, their toughest game, they play 2 teams with a winning mark right now, the Seahawks and the Titans. They have the Chargers as their other game. They can easily get to 10 wins, to 11 wins even, which is weird to think.
Weird to think the Jacksonville Jaguars could actually host a playoff
It's a good team.
So they're there at number 4 in Downey's Dozen. How about number 3 here? The Kansas City Chiefs, and friend of the program, Charkandrick West, said on the Cam Rogers show today, they're confident that they could still get that number 1 seed in the AFC. Of course the players going to say
I think as of right now, unless Jacksonville can beat a team like Seattle, I think that there's a pretty clear differentiation that the top three and kind of everybody else right now.
Yep.
So the Chiefs are third. They've hit a bit of a rough patch. The Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers aren't doing that well. They're kind of on the peripheral, at least in the wild card look. This is the AFC West is the Chiefs' division to lose. What concerns me about the Chiefs is not the offense. You know, it's been a little iffy lately. It's the defense.
Especially that front seven.
Without Eric Berry,
that too,
it just hasn't been anywhere near as good. So Chiefs win the AFC West. That gets them the 3 seed.
Okay, so according to your projections, it would be Chiefs and Buffalo Bills. How about a couple of bye week teams in the AFC? Number 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers. It seems like they've really hit their stride coming off a bye week. They're 6-2, looking pretty.
Strongly consider Pittsburgh as the number 1 seed in the AFC.
They are there right now.
And I think that they might end up finishing there. I think the Patriots' schedule, it's not too tough. It's going to come down to December 17th. Patriots visit the Steelers. The winner of that game should get the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. I lean toward Patriots overall right now, but it is a minuscule difference. I mean, we are splitting hairs here.
Well, the Steelers will be doing battle against those New England Patriots, who fall at number 1 in the AFC, according to your projections, Tom. Quite simple. It's a watered-down AFC, and this is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I figured.
I think Pittsburgh might end up finishing that, and I really did want to put Pittsburgh at the number 1 spot, but I'm a little bit concerned about Big Ben and his inconsistency.
Okay.
I'm worried there are going to be like 2 more games this year where Big Ben turns into like, oh, I don't know what's going on out there.
4 interception Big Ben.
He's going to go into mopey Big Ben where he just like kind of stops caring and he gets all upset with himself and just is like, oh, well, I'm going to throw 5 picks against the Jags for no apparent reason. So that's what concerns me.
The Patriots check in at number 1 in the AFC. Let's summarize what Tom has on the AFC side of things. We got the Bills at 6, Tennessee Titans at 4, Jacksonville Jaguars, Titans at 5, Jaguars at 4. Let's get to 1 through 3 here. We got the Chiefs at 3, Steelers at 2, and Patriots at 1. Any dark horse before we move on to the NFC here, Tom? In the AFC that could maybe make some noise? Could a Chargers figure it out? Could a Broncos make a run?
Raiders, I think, is the best bet here. Okay. Their schedule's just very, very tough.
All right, so that's Downey's Dozen AFC side of things. We will get to the NFC, but we remind you we are indeed presented by Mizzen and Main. Fantastic performance fabric shirts, 22nd century level stuff. Made in America too, Tom.
I don't follow years, but I know that Made in America is a good thing.
There you go. So head on to the website, comfortable.af, and check out this wide selection that they have on that website. It's gifting season too, Tom, so maybe a little gift for Dad.
I'm not very good at shopping, so yeah, this is a good option.
Okay, so it's a very quick option as well. So check out that website, and we thank them for coming on here on NFL Daily. Let's check in with Downey's Dozen NFC side. We got the Carolina Panthers at number 6 right now. This is surprising.
This was going to be the Cowboys, and then Zeke got to spin, and I'm like, never mind, cross it off, Carolina. Kind of easy there.
Plug them in.
Carolina's an interesting team. They've been a little bit inconsistent. The offense doesn't have a great direction because they're built to be this power run team that takes shots deep downfield, but their offensive personnel is West Coast check down to McCaffrey and Samuel and the like on that roster. So Carolina's in good shape right now, though. I think in particular with the NFC, frankly, what separates 6 through 3, assuming it's going to be the NFC South, the NFC West, 6 through 3, it's a very hard-fought race, and the NFC in general is going to be awesome. There are a ton of teams, the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Redskins, a few others, the Detroit. Those are teams that are going to be in the mix all the way up until Week 17, Week 16, somewhere in that range. It's going to be a fun wild card battle for the NFC.
All right, so for now, you've got the Carolina Panthers inching into the playoffs. How about number 5, the Los Angeles Rams? Are you standing by this, the way Seattle has looked recently and the way LA has looked pretty good?
Seattle beat the Rams already. I think Seattle beats them again. We'll get to Seattle here in a little bit. I don't know if I'm really ready to buy this Rams team. I think they're going to come back to earth a little bit, finish with like 10 wins, maybe. I think they'll get to 10. They're in a really good spot as things currently stand, but I think Seattle's a better team, and I think Seattle's going to have the head-to-head win, and that's going to be the two-head wins, I should say. That's going to end up being the difference between Seattle and Los Angeles.
So Seattle on their schedule, of course, after this Thursday night game that just happened, they got Atlanta, then you got Philadelphia down the line, Dallas, LA, of course.
They got Atlanta. I think they're going to win that game. The Niners, I know they're going to win that game. They'll beat the Rams as well. I think they're going to beat the Cowboys. The Cardinals as well. At that point, you're looking at a Rams team with a couple of good wins. If they beat the Rams as well, that gives them really a one-game lead because they have the tiebreaker. And so I think Seattle ends up as the number 4 seed.
Yeah, speaking of those Seahawks there, you have Seattle at number 4 hosting a playoff game against those LA Rams. And you know what? That would be a really fun playoff game. Like,
oh, yeah.
Goff versus Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah. And it'd be at home, which I think benefits Seattle. The Rams are a solid team. I think Seattle gets it figured out. I am a little bit concerned about losing Richard Sherman. I think that's why Seattle finishes 4th as opposed to like 3 or 2, which is what they've been in the past. I like the Seattle team quite a bit. The defense isn't as good, and if Seattle doesn't get like a 1 or 2 seed, I think they'll be bounced early because this team is so much different on the road as opposed to at home.
All right, so the Seattle Seahawks there at number 4. How about number 3 in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints? Tom, there is an argument to be made that this team could actually get to number 1 if, Philadelphia slips up a bit.
Well, I mean, I think Philadelphia isn't going to slip up, but I think you kind of get back to this, frankly, 5 through 2, the seeding arrangement is going to be very, very hard fought. Even 6 through 2. I think, if Carolina goes on a run, they can finish with the number 2 seed in the NFC. It's that compact right now over in the NFC. With the Saints, though, the offense has always been good. We've known that. Drew Brees is great. The offense puts up points in bunches, but the defense has always been garbage. And it's taken them from a double-digit win team, talking 11, even 12 wins, to a 7-win squad or fewer. The defense has been much improved this year. That's going to put the Saints back in the playoff mix, and it's going to put them in top 2 seed mix.
It would be great to see the Saints back into the playoffs. By the way,
if the Saints make the playoffs, give Drew Brees the damn MVP. I'm sorry, Carson Wentz, you've been great this year. Drew Brees deserves an MVP. I don't care if it's kind of the collective career MVP. He needs to have one.
Drew Brees, 3rd all-time in completions as we stand right now. So the Saints there at number 3. Getting into the bye weeks here on the NFC side of things, Minnesota, even with the instability at the quarterback position, Bradford, Keenum, then maybe Teddy later, they're still getting it done.
Minnesota's a great regular season team because they have an amazing defense, but I think once we get to playoff time, is Case Keenum good enough to win them a Super Bowl? And my answer is no. So I'm a big Minnesota fan. Keenum's not going to win them Super Bowl LII is what we're up to right now. So I wouldn't be stunned if Minnesota had a tough draw. Let's say they get the 2 seed. And then they end up playing like the Saints. I think they lose that game if the Saints still are playing like they have been playing. I think they have to, if they want to win the Super Bowl, maybe they give Teddy Bridgewater a shot. I'm just throwing it out there as an idea, if he's truly healthy. Because I'm a huge Teddy fan. I love what Case Keenum has done for them. But I don't think Keenum's the guy to win them a Super Bowl.
I don't either. I don't think
so either. Thank you, Case. When he has a bad game, maybe we just see what Teddy's got. Maybe we get Teddy some garbage time work.
Okay.
Just to see what he's got, because I love Teddy Bridgewater. I'm a huge fan.
Minnesota Vikings check in at number 2. Bridgewater, by the way, will dress this coming Sunday for those Vikings.
Bam.
Finally, number 1, the number 1 team in our power rankings as well, the Philadelphia Eagles, firing on all cylinders.
Despite disrespect from somebody in
me
this
on
office.
this desk right here.
Yeah, because you have 2.
Patriots are 1.
Unreal, unbelievable.
Anyway.
The way Philadelphia is being handled right now is very confusing to me. The first 4 games, and I was also guilty of this, it was, they did this last year and then they fell apart. Let's just see what happens. They are now sitting with an 8-1 record. They have been unbelievable this year. Their only loss was a narrow one to the Kansas City when they were actually playing well. Yeah, they have some injuries to Jason Peters and Jordan Hicks. And yeah, they got 3 straight road games in December. That's going to be tough on them. But why can't we just accept the fact that, hey, maybe this Philadelphia team is really good? Why do we have to wait for Philadelphia to collapse? Why can't we just say, hey, they're playing well, let's believe in them? So yeah, give me Philadelphia as the number 1 seed in the NFC. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're the best team in the NFL and the NFC right now. They deserve the number 1 seed in my projections.
They are the best team in the NFC. I'll give you that one, Tom Downey. So the Philadelphia Eagles there at number 1. Let's summarize what we have here in the NFC. If you're just joining us, we've got the Carolina Panthers at 6, the Rams at 5, the Seahawks at 4, and then 1 through 3 here. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1, Minnesota Vikings at number 2, those 2 teams getting their byes, and the New Orleans Saints at number 3. That has been Downey's Dozen. You'll have a fresh batch next week, of course.
Every week, baby, on chatsports.com/app. Turn on notifications. You'll get notified. Every week that goes out in article form.
All right, there you have it. And let's continue our previews here in Week 10 of the NFL. This one, a big-time rivalry, but no Aaron Rodgers.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same when the Bears are still, building. I don't want to say rebuilding because they're in the process of building up. And the Packers are starting Brett Hundley, who's garbage. So, I can't believe I'm saying this. Give me Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird to think that we're in, November, and it's like, yeah, the Bears are going to beat the Packers. They don't have Aaron Rodgers. It's not the same team. They can't throw the ball downfield.
Right.
They can't. The offense looks horrid. Maybe they should have signed someone who's actually competent. Colin Kaepernick.
Nice little slide in there.
Thank you. It was not obvious at all.
I mean, the Bears are favored by 5.5, but still, I'm going to take Chicago in this one. And by the way, all you daily fantasy gamers out there, start the Bears defense with confidence. I think they might have a pick 6 or 2 in this one.
The Bears have actually had a pretty solid defense. I think they're missing another piece or two, but very quietly, they have a quality team.
And Marcus Wheaton actually coming back for the Bears as well. Much needed addition there.
Better than Trey McBride. No offense, Trey.
Exactly. So throw in your reactions, folks. Maybe we have some Green Bay Packers fans out there that are throwing their hearts out. But Tom and I are going with our wow faces respectively. As we move along here, we've got a little Chargers at Jaguars action. But before we do, there it is right there actually. So we do have the Chargers and the Jaguars doing battle. And this is a game where the Chargers are at 3-5. They need to go on a freaking run, Tom Downey, to actually make some noise in the AFC. And so I actually think they do that. I think they have the pieces in place on the offense to actually score some points, make some noise down the line here. And I think it starts this week at Jacksonville, but I'll let you say your case here. Do you think the Jaguars are going to beat the Chargers?
Yes, I do. Because I think at home, especially if Fournette's back after being suspended for a little bit, look, I don't hate the Chargers. I hope that they put up a good fight because I like watching good games and not blowouts. I think this is a really good Jaguars team when they don't ask Blake Bortles to throw the football. And you can run on San Diego. They've been okay, not great. Fournette's going to have success. The Jags' defense is one of the best, if not the best right now in the NFL. It's a close game, but at home, give me the Jaguars. Cam, if it was a home game for San Diego, or for LA, it'd be a little bit different.
Okay, all right. So the Jags are indeed favored by 3.5 at home. By the way, Gus Bradley revenge game, Tom? Come on. Defensive coordinator out there for the Chargers. All right, I'm throwing up my heart. I'm taking the Chargers in this one. I think they go on a run. Watch out for this team in the AFC. As we move along here in our previews, Texans at Rams. This one in Los Angeles, 4:05 Eastern time. So the Texans are going to get C.J. Fedorowicz back at the tight end position, but they lose Ryan Griffin. So
it doesn't matter unless they have Deshaun Watson back because Tom Savage is horrible. Like, we've seen him play a bunch of games. He finally got his first NFL touchdown pass. If I would have so much rather seen Deshaun Watson play. A, my fantasy team needs him right now. B, it makes for an exciting Houston team without Deshaun Watson. And it's not just that without Deshaun Watson, it's that Tom Savage is that bad of a quarterback. I think the Rams are going to just destroy Houston. The defense for the Texans is banged up. It's not the same you've seen in the past. The Rams' offense, as it turns out, is incredible. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jeff Fisher. Like, the Rams are going to roll in this one.
Are you ready to say that the Rams are the best show on you-know-what?
Oh, the best show.
Again.
They're not on turf anymore. They're the best show in the Coliseum.
You think they're there again, the Kurt Warner days, etc.?
I need to see an entire season, but hats off to Sean McVay. What he has done and actually turned that offense into a competent offense is both A, an indictment on how horrible Jeff Fisher was, and B, a compliment to how great McVay is. So, maybe not yet, but they're getting there. The Rams win.
Yeah, I like the Rams as well. Tom Savage on the road, going out west. Yeah, no thank you very much. By the way, no thank you to this game here. Tom, let's make this one quick. Giants at 49ers. One win between both of these two teams here. And the Giants, by the way, are going to be without 3 linebackers.
Basically all starters. Goodson, Robinson, and Kennard. The Giants are a mess. And they are just horrible right now. And I'm actually kind of surprised they're favored on the road. Because I think the players that Ben McAdoo has lost the locker room.
You heard those anonymous reports.
And some players are like, you can't do that, man. You're being a coward. You got to put your name on it. Or some of the other players we're going to figure out who said it. And I'm like, he's right. Like, the way you guys have played is indicative of not believing in Ben McAdoo, or as producer Harris has called him, Ben McAdon't. Fire McAdoo. Fire Jerry Reese. Blow it all up. Start over.
Fire sale.
Fire everyone. They've messed up by not trading DRC at the deadline, by the way, because they're going to cut in this offseason.
So there has been noise.
Give me the Niners.
There has been noise, by the way, about Webb coming in playing quarterback for the Giants. Any faith there?
Like, I feel weird saying bench Eli Manning because he is not the problem. You should also try and see what you have in Davis Webb. Hinted, I don't think it's going to be very good.
Out of Cal, yep.
So I wasn't a big Davis Webb guy. So you might as well play him. I think he's going to be worse than Eli Manning. So, yeah, great tanking strategy. It's also hugely disrespectful to a quarterback who's done wonders for your organization.
Exactly. Unbelievable.
So, I don't really have a great answer for you. Oh, but I had to have a great answer for you. Give me the Niners. They're giving me points at home. Niners win.
Yeah.
Although I hate betting on C.J. Beathard. Just play Garoppolo already.
This is
plug
going
him
to
in.
be, if the Niners are going to win this game, it's going to be a big-time Carlos Hyde, Matt Breida game at the running back position. I think it will be. Give me the Niners as well in what probably will be the clunker of the week. This one will not be. Patriots at the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football. You know all about Tom Brady's demons in Denver at Mile High. He has struggled before. But the Broncos are struggling big time. But they do have Brock Osweiler. Will he save the day, Tom?
No.
Oh, okay.
And, I'm sorry, Denver. It's not the same. They somehow survived with the rotting corpse of Peyton Manning, and he won them a Super Bowl because he was horrific when he was
Rotting corpse. That's
He
awesome.
was so bad, though.
That's awesome.
He was awful. But Denver's defense is still really good. The issue is the offense can't move the ball at all. They refuse to run the football, which is why they had success with Peyton Manning back then. The Patriots are going to win this game. I think it's close. I think Denver puts up a decent fight. Maybe Brock Osweiler looks really competent against a not great Patriots defense.
Is 7.5 too much, though, for you?
I have a tough time betting on Brock Osweiler,
Okay.
so I guess not.
All right.
He'll look okay in the process.
I'm going to go with the Patriots in this one as well. I feel pretty confident in this one. The Patriots will be without, I must note, Chris Hogan and tackle Marcus Cannon. So obviously something to monitor there on the edge there with Von Miller, etc. But still, I think the Patriots get this victory here. Throw in your reactions, folks. Who you got, Patriots or Broncos? Heart for those Patriots, wow face for those Broncos. Tom, this is the essentially end of the road for Denver. If they lose here, it's all over for the playoff hopes, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it is a must-win game, which I don't think they're going to win.
So the Patriots recently acquired, Martellus Bennett off of waivers because the Packers dropped him. And Bennett took to Instagram to essentially rip on the Packers doctor and medical staff overall because there's this weird situation where Martellus Bennett said he was hurt, but then he ended up practicing for the Patriots. Can you digest this?
Yeah, because I'm going to go on a big rant here against Martellus Bennett. So what happened is Bennett said his shoulder was hurt. He said the Packers doctors wanted him to play through it. He said, "No, I'm hurt." So he's like, "Okay, we'll just cut you then because apparently you're hurt and you're lying and all that stuff." And there's a big feud between Bennett and the Packers. Like, oh, who struck first? The Packers cut him and trying to get money back. Bennett said on Instagram that he is hurt and he needs surgery. That the Packers were trying to make him play when he needed surgery. All of a sudden now, Martellus Bennett is healthy enough to practice for the Patriots.
In limited fashion.
So which is it, Martellus? Do you need surgery or are you okay to play? Here's what actually happened. A, Martellus Bennett has zero credibility. Absolutely none. Martellus Bennett quit on the Packers. That's what happened here. And you know what, Martellus? That's okay. You didn't want to play for a shit team. Because without Aaron Rodgers, that's what the Green Bay Packers are. That's okay, Martellus. But don't sit there and try and put the blame on the Packers doctors when apparently you're okay to play, so they were right. If you want to say, I didn't want to play for Green Bay, I wanted to go play for a team that could actually win, okay. That is okay.
Would he say that, though?
Better than sitting there lying. And by the way, a ton of current and former Packers players have come out and said, no, our doctor's great. Martellus,
Really?
you're lying. Yeah,
That is,
Jordy Nelson, who never says anything, came out and said it.
Wow.
Jermichael Finley came out. John Kuhn of Saints fame as well came out and said it. So no, I do not believe Martellus Bennett's claims. This, by the way, is classic Martellus Bennett. It's never his fault. He did the same thing with the Cowboys when he said, oh, Jason Witten didn't mentor me enough. And everyone was like, dude, it's Jason Witten. Everyone who's ever worked with Jason Witten said, no, he's awesome.
What do you think brother Michael Bennett is thinking?
I don't think Michael Bennett has much credibility either.
Oh,
so,
boy.
No, I don't believe Martellus Bennett. And let's call it what it is. He faked his injury or he faked it enough to get back with the Patriots. And that's okay. You know what, Martellus? You want to play for a team that's good.
He got his way.
I understand it. But don't sit there and try and blame everybody else when apparently you said you need surgery, but that you're good enough to still play, which is what the Packers doctor said. So
So,
shame on you, Martellus.
Bennett,
You're a liar and a fraud.
Martellus Bennett officially questionable to play for the Patriots this coming week. We will see what happens going forward.
I hope he plays.
We do have one final game to get through here. Monday Night Football. How about the Dolphins at the Panthers here, Tom?
The schedule makers like Miami in the playoffs last year. This is a great game to put them on Monday night. Oops.
Yeah. So, you mentioned the Panthers. They have the wins, but the tape, not so great.
That's the offense. The defense is good. It's not quite Denver and Peyton Manning because Cam Newton's better than Peyton Manning was, at least at that point, Peyton Manning. The defense is good. The offense is so inconsistent. They'll beat the Dolphins because Miami's a bad football team. And I think the Carolina Panthers are going to make the playoffs right now. I just don't know how far they're going to go with that inconsistent offense. Defense does win championships. Carolina's going to be a tough out for any team. But I lean toward Miami right now. Or excuse me, I lean toward Carolina winning. Carolina getting bounced out relatively early in the playoffs.
Even with those 9 points?
Yeah, Carolina's going to win, though.
Okay.
Give me Carolina.
All right, throw in your thoughts, folks. We got the Dolphins, we got the Panthers on Monday Night Football. Heart for the Dolphins, a wow face for those Panthers. 9 points seems a lot to me,
It is a little high, but it's Miami.
And I'm hesitant.
It's a trap, Cam.
I'm going Carolina.
It's a trap.
I'll go Carolina. Okay, so nice Star Wars reference there,
Thank
buddy.
you.
I'll go with Carolina in this one, too.
Give me a fish head and we'll talk.
The Dolphins stink on the offensive side of the ball.
They do.
And Jay Cutler, he's not going to be
You
the
got
savior.
perhaps the worst NFL offense against one of the best defenses. Give me Carolina.
All right, let's run them through.
Let's do it again.
One more time here. Rapid fire action with the picks here in Week 10. Jets and Bucks, Tom.
Give me the Jets, because Fitzpatrick is not very good.
Give me Ryan. I'm going Bucks.
You're a weird man.
How about Browns and Lions?
Browns cover, but Detroit wins.
All right, Detroit outright. I think the Browns stay within that point spread, though, yes.
11.5.
Saints and Bills.
The Saints. I am all aboard the Who Dat train.
I am going Bills. Upset special.
All right.
Steelers and Colts.
This is an easy one. Give me Pittsburgh in a rout.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's going to roll big
Not
time.
even close.
Bengals and Titans, Tom.
Ends up being a decent game.
Okay.
Titans win.
I'll take Titans as well. And next up on the list here, America's Game of the Week, Cowboys-Falcons.
Without Zeke, it's Atlanta.
Yep, I'm going Atlanta
Sorry,
as
Cowboys
well.
fans.
At home. Vikings on the road taking on the Redskins.
Give me Minnesota.
Minnesota as well. I think they roll. Packers-Bears, gross.
Duh, Bears.
I'll take the Bears as well. They make a couple plays on defense. Chargers-Jaguars, Tom.
Give me Jacksonville. Saxonville, baby, going to get to Phillip Rivers, take him down.
Give me LA. I'll go Chargers. Texans, Rams, Tom Savage, any faith?
Absolutely not. Give me the Rams. That Tom Savage is horrible.
I'll take the Rams as well. Wow face for me. Giants, 49ers, does it matter?
It does for the number one overall pick purposes. This is the game the Niners win at home. I would much rather see Jimmy Garoppolo, but this Giants team is awful right now.
49ers as well. Patriots, Broncos, Sunday Night Football.
Brock Osweiler, he's playing against the Patriots. Give them. It's New England.
I was like, where are you going with this?
It's New England.
Give me Patriots as well. Finally, Monday Night Football, Dolphins, Panthers.
It is the Carolina Panthers, not that close. Miami just cannot move the ball on offense right now.
All right, I'll go Panthers as well. That has been your rapid fire pick section here on NFL Daily. Cam Rogers alongside Tom Downey. As we wrap up, we thank Visit and Main for coming along here. Fantastic performance fabric shirts made for the great corporate person out there, I guess you could say. Great for wearing
made
a
for
work.
everyone.
Yeah,
Dude, I sleep with them. They're that comfortable.
Hey, if you love
They're
sleeping, then
super
they're great for you,
comfortable.
too. Comfortable.af is the website, and you really got to check it out as you start your Christmas shopping and your holiday shopping, etc.
It's the way to go.
All right, so many thanks to Visit in Maine, and many thanks to you for tuning in to this completely live program. Enjoy your NFL Sunday. We'll see you on NFL Recap Sunday night. Take care.